Greetings viewers, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're back looking at a tool we looked at in the past. It's the M18 Fuel Compact in 3/8" drive. Those of you that have seen the video on that or recall, we ran this gun against the M12 3/8" drive stubby impact. And through all of our testing, we found out that they're essentially the same in power. The M18 was slightly smaller front to back. But the main thing came down to what battery platform you were in and what footprint you wanted, as the M12 is smaller in size due to the size of the battery than the M18. During those tests, we found out that the M18 Fuel in 3/8 had a little bit of an issue on larger fasteners or fasteners to the higher end of its working torque specification. And during that, we stepped up with a 3/8 to 1/2" adapter and put bulkier, larger, heavier 1/2" drive socketry items on this 3/8" anviled impact, and we're able to get more oomph out of the tool and take loose those fasteners that we couldn't with just straight 3/8" drive sockets. So in today's video, we now have the 1/2" drive version of this gun. So we're gonna run the 3/8 and the 1/2" side by side, and we're gonna see how much of a difference or how important it is in picking your anvil size on these tools. These tools are completely the same, all the specs are the same, motors, bodies, everything. The only difference is 1/2" or 3/8" drive anvil. So will bigger, more weighty 1/2" drive sockets put out more force than the 3/8" drive impact with smaller, lighter 3/8" drive socketry items? So that said, only one way to find out, and it's to put it to a test. So let's get at it and see if there actually is a difference, a notable difference in buying the tool in 1/2" drive or 3/8" drive. All right guys, before we get started, a little bit of preliminary information. Both guns here have brand spanking new 50 XC batteries. Both are fully charged, so no issues with one having an older battery than the other, one not having the same charge, one being a 50, one being a 60 or 80. They're both identical in age, charge, and capacity. As far as socketry items are concerned, we keep that as even as possible. In the previous video, I was using Matco Silver Eagle sockets, but I don't have a 1/2" drive equivalents for those 3/8 I was using. So in this video, we've got snap-on 3/8" drive, deep, shallow, and swivel impact sockets, and we've got snap-on 1/2" drive, deep, shallow, and swivel impact sockets. So same manufacturer, 3/8 and 1/2, so no variance in the socketry items either. So also, when we get to the crank pulley bolt, that was one of the things that we struggled on. We have a nearly brand new snap-on ATEC Tech Angle wrench, torque wrench, we are gonna be using on that. I recently traded in my 250 foot-pound version for the newer 300 foot-pound version about 2 months ago, so hence why it's nearly brand new and longer than the one you've seen for years in my videos. Sorry guys, before I forget and we move on, one more little snippet of information. So this is a 17mm 3/8" drive, deep, swivel, and shallow snap-on socket, and a deep, swivel, and shallow 17mm 1/2" drive socket. As you can see, the 1/2" drive socketry items are taller, longer, and thicker than the 3/8" equivalents. So that's basically the whole premise of the video. What we're testing is how much, if any, does the added size and mass of 1/2" drive socketry items on a 1/2" anvil impact affect the power output of that impact compared to smaller, less weighty 3/8" drive socketry items on a 3/8" anviled impact. So as we see, I don't have a scale handy to weigh them, but the 1/2" drive stuff is definitely weighs more. It's definitely taller in height, so you're gonna lose some of that clearance with the compact using 1/2" drive socketry items compared to 3/8" drive socketry items. But just wanted to say that really quickly before we get into the actual usage of the tools. Now that's out of the way, we can get to knocking some bolts loose. All right, so one of the first things we knocked loose on the show of strength in the last video was these 12mm nuts on a strut mount, upper strut mount on an Outback. Should not be any problem whatsoever for either of these guns. So we've got a 12mm deep well socket on each, and just to show really quickly the size difference between the 1/2" and the 3/8, that's how much space you're going to lose running a 1/2" drive deep well compared to a 3/8. So if absolute compact size is the name of the game for automotive work, 3/8" drive will be your go-to. Both guns are in power level mode 3, which is the highest level. Not sure if you'll be able to see that illuminated as overcast as it is right now. All right, there's that one. And there's that one. So absolutely no problem on the 3/8" drive. No problem on the 1/2" drive. Not surprised whatsoever, given the torque of the bolts and the size of the bolts. So let's move on to some bigger stuff and see where we actually find a struggle point for either gun. All right, now on to these 14mm headed bolts here on this frame rail. No issue from the 3/8" drive. No issue from the 1/2" drive. Let's step it on up. All right, now we're gonna try lug nuts on this Outback 19mm, torquing to 120 Newton meters or roughly 89 foot-pounds. First up, our 3/8" drive, using a deep well 19. No issues whatsoever on the lug nuts for the 3/8" drive. And we can demonstrate the auto stop for tightening lug nuts. Also great for loosening them so you don't sling them off. And now to the 1/2" drive. This time we'll use the auto stop just so you can see it in action on the lug nut. But didn't really get to see much of it. That thread is so small on these little acorn caps that it broke it loose so quickly it didn't have time to sense and slow itself down. So no problem whatsoever for either the 1/2 or 3/8 on lug nuts on a regular passenger car. So now for a real challenge, as we did at the end of the last video, we'll try my 2004 Sierra 3500 Duramax Dualies lugs. All right guys, if you recall back to the last video on this gun, we tried with the 3/8" drive and it just didn't have enough oomph with a 3/8" drive socket to knock these 22mm lug nuts off of the Duramax. They should be torqued to right at 140 foot-pounds. We ended up using a 3/8 to 1/2" adapter and a 1/2" drive 22mm socket, and that gave us just an extra little bit of oomph for the M18 compact to knock them loose, but the M12 stubby kind of struggled to knock any loose. So this time we're gonna see if the 1/2" drive anvil and 1/2" drive sockets without the adapter is a significant change in the ability to remove these lugs. All right, starting off, 22, shallow, 3/8. And this time I've got a snap on. The last video I had a Mac, and it was a little bit less mass than the snap-on. So we'll see if that helps any or not. Unfortunately, I don't have a deep well 22 3/8" drive to try if this doesn't work. So with the weightier 22 snap-on shallow 3/8, we are able to get a little bit more impacts in and knock these loose. It did struggle quite a bit on this one. It didn't move this one. This one came off fairly easily. I would like to try a 1/2-inch drive just to put a little bit more mass on there, but as I said, do not have one. So we're gonna go ahead and step it up to the 1/2-inch drive and see if it can take these off any easier. This one was a struggle, so let's go ahead and try this one. And as we can see, the 1/2-inch drive is taking them off much quicker, struggling a lot less than the 3/8" just because of the size difference in the 1/2-inch and the 3/8" socket. As we can see here, the 1/2-inch drive is a little bit longer. It's definitely a lot fatter on the hammering end, and it's got chunkier, thicker sidewalls as well. So a lot more weight, a lot more heft in the 1/2-inch drive. Just for the sake of experimenting, we're gonna put a 22 1/2-inch deep well that's gonna have more weight on it, more mass, and we're gonna try these down here and see if it is any significantly quicker in breaking them loose than the shallow was. So pretty much the same, maybe slightly faster, but heavier socket does increase the power potential of the impact to do work. All right, guys, so one other point of struggle we observed in testing the M12 stubby and the M18 compact in 3/8 was the 22mm crankshaft pulley bolt on this Subaru EZ30 engine. Torque to 160 foot-pounds, or right about 220 Newton meters. As we saw with the 22mm 3/8" drive shallow socket, it failed to take off the crank pulley bolt. Again, that was with the lighter Mac impact socket. Now we have the snap-on. We're gonna torque this to specification again, or make sure it's still torqued to specification. Try the 3/8, see if we can get it to budge. If not, we'll go ahead and use the 1/2-inch. If you also recall, in that video, we did use the 3/8 to 1/2-inch adapter with a 1/2-inch drive shallow 22, and we're able to finally get this to break loose given the extra mass of the larger socket. So we are still at specification, 220 Newton meters, or about 160 foot-pounds. So we'll go ahead and get the 3/8" drive, see what it's gonna do. Again, on power mode 3. It's amazing the difference that socketry items play on the power output of your impact. Really quickly, I'm gonna run to the shop and grab that Mac I was using in the last video and show you just the size comparison between the Mac and the snap-on socket and how much difference you've just seen it made in breaking loose this crank pulley bolt. All right, so I've grabbed our Mac socket we were using in the last video and gonna compare it to the snap-on we just used. Hopefully you can see this against my dark colored gloves. But that's the difference there. As you see, the Mac is more shallow than the snap-on socket. Also, the Mac has a substantial amount of material removed around the drive end, primarily to make it more compact. But in doing so, you take mass out of the socket and you take weight out, and it makes the socket less efficient than a bulkier socket. That is the main difference here. So really quickly, we're gonna torque this back down to specification, use this Mac socket on it, and see if it'll struggle again or if it'll break it free. All right, back to 220 Newton meters. Same as where we were before. No differentiation in the power settings. All we've done is changed our socket from the snap-on to the Mac. As you see, we're still in power mode 3. All 4 bars. All we did was change between a Mac 3/8" drive shallow impact socket and a snap-on. And as you see, straight proof right here, socketry items are crucial to the power output and potential for impacting tools to do work. We're not budging it whatsoever with the Mac socket. We switch to the snap-on. Comes right out. That's all the proof is in the pudding, guys, are right here. So let's put it back together. We'll torque it down one more time. We'll see just how much quicker, if any, the 1/2" drive is at removing this compared to the 3/8. All right, once again, 220 Newton meters. The only difference is we're using the 1/2" drive version with a 1/2" drive socket. Again, power mode 3, fully charged 5.0, all 4 bars. Let's see how much quicker this works. Not noticeably different, but it still got the job done. All right, let's finish up on a little bit of something absurd. 32 mil Subaru CV Axle Nut should be torqued to around 140 foot-pounds or about 190 Newton meters, give or take. I'm gonna check to see where we're at. This one's popping off right at 198 Newton meters, so about 145, 150 foot-pounds. Has been broken free before and retorqued. We're gonna try probably to futility and remove it with 3/8. Of course, there's no 3/8" drive, 32 millimeter socket. So we are gonna have to use an adapter, and we are gonna severely limit our torque. So again, this is just to see if it's even possible. I very much doubt it will remove it, but let's just see what happens. And lo and behold, it took it off of there. Quite surprised. Did not expect that. Let's tighten it up and retorque it and run it on the 1/2" gun without the need of the adapter. As you saw, there was quite a bit of violent shaking laterally with that adapter in place. The more moving parts you have between the impacting mechanism and the work, the more violent that will become, and it's not an ideal situation. All right, so retorqued. Of course, we're not staked in. I don't think it was staked in before. I believe I removed this nut previously, I think, on reviewing the Milwaukee 3/4" impact. So now with the 1/2" drive, much more stable without that adapter in the way. Pulled it off very easily. A lot quicker because it didn't have all that flailing up and down, and put more power into the actual work. So yeah, this little compact impact can remove CV axle nuts from a Subaru. Now, as I said, I'd already broke this loose probably a year ago with the 3/4" gun, or maybe 8 months ago. Let's go and find one that's still staked and see if this gun can remove it. And we'll end out the video there. All right, so 1996, 1997, not exactly sure what year model this Outback is. Just popped the center cap off. Funny, made in the USA, Subaru part. And see if we can knock this CV axle loose. Yeah, we're not gonna hammer on this too much. That's a lot of violent movement. Don't want to risk damaging the tool. So we'll stop there, switch off to the 1/2" drive. Initially, when I tried that, that's what I was getting with the 3/8". Before, I tried it with the M12 stubby when I filmed that video, but I didn't put that in the video. So now, let's see if the 1/2-inch drive fares any better and is able to knock this CV axle nut loose. And wow, she did it. So now we've pretty much seen the differences in the 1/2 and the 3/8 version of this gun. What you can expect for power potential, how does the drive size, how does the socketry item affect the power potential of this impact, with all other specifications being identical. So, grand question, which one of these tools is right for you? You gotta ask yourself, do you want every ounce of power you can get out of this thing, every little speck of breakaway? If that is what you need, absolute power, and you don't care about size, 1/2-inch drive is the version for you. If you are working middle to lower end of the torque specification, if you want the smallest, most compact size, the 3/8 drive tool is the one for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.